I'm back with a new video. Today we are going to be making a holiday pinafore. And the pattern I'm going to be using is the McCalls 4206. As you notice, it is a children's pattern. And so I'm not using the pattern itself specifically, I'm actually just using the inspiration for the pinafore that I'm going to be making. I really like how full it is. I also like the banding that is different around the top along with the rickrack. I actually really like this dress in general. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to make the whole dress or have enough material to make the whole dress because I'm actually using a remnant today. And the remnant I'm using is this really cute holly pattern. It also has a bunch of roses across the bottom. Here's the bottom part. Bottom part is what I'm going to be using for the skirt. I only have, how many yards did I say I had of this? Yeah. Oh, I don't know these things before I do this. 1, 2, 2.5. Where was I? Let's start from the top. Why not we? And the material I'm using is this cute little holly pattern. It also has a set of roses across the bottom. I only have 2.5 yards for that. I don't have enough of the holly fabric to make a full dress, but I definitely have enough to make a really cute pinafore. And I'm going to have the roses across the bottom of it. And then obviously the belt is going to be the holly, and then I'm going to have holly straps. And I might do a cute little rickrack detailing across both of those. And if I have enough, I'm going to do an actual bodice part to the pinafore. Otherwise, it's just a skirt with suspenders, which I still dig, still love. But I think it would be cute with a little bib. So that's my plan. And I have everything that I need. So let us begin. So I measure up from the bottom selvage the length that I want the skirt to be, which is going to be around knee length like it shows in the pattern. And I also had my assistant Pepper helping me keep the ruler straight, so I know that I have accurate measurements. I realized pretty quickly that I wasn't going to have enough to make a bib like I was hoping. I only concentrated on making the skirt, the waistband, and the suspenders. Fortunately, I did remember in the nick of time not to cut off the very end of the fabric, so I can use that as the waistband, because the waistband needs to have stretch, so it needs to go across the whole length of the fabric from selvage to selvage. And then I have my other helper, Mr. Black, making sure that the fabric stays stable while I cut. And then I measure out for pockets. Gotta have pockets. My ideal pocket is one that can hold my phone, so I use my phone as a guide, and then I cut out the lining for that pocket, and then I cut out the straps. They're going to be pretty thick. I was just going to use what was there instead of trying to measure and cut. So for the first step, I did interfacing for the waistband and the straps, and then I ran them through my serger to finish off all the seams. For the pockets, I sewed down the lining. I already joined the lining and the pocket, and now I'm going back over it around the perimeter. And next I iron out the world's tiniest rickrack. And then I add that rickrack to the perimeter of the pockets because I thought that would be a cute detail. It was quite a challenge because the tiny rickrack was super slippery. And because I'm so great at remembering to do things before doing other things, I very carefully top stitched the lining of the pocket to the front of the pocket. I sew down one of the side seams together. And Mr. Black reminds me to take a moment to give him his daily dose of love and affection. And then I sew the straps together. I pull that inside out, and then I put the rickrack over top, around the perimeter, just like the pockets. And then I sew the pockets onto the pinafore. And then I gather the skirt into really tight little ruffles, and then I sew on the waistband. The final step for the skirt is to do the hem. So I iron up the hem about 4 inches, and then I use that iron line as a guide for my second fold. So it's going to be a double folded skirt. I don't usually make them this big. And this is when I had my not so happy little accident. When I was stretching out the fabric to lay down the next portion, I hit the back of my hand on the face of the iron and I gave myself quite the little burn. Fortunately, I didn't catch it on camera, but I am trying to show you Not that you can see it because there's too much light, but it does burn. After that, I add my trim around the waistband. Unfortunately, doing the straps used up all of my rickrack. Instead, I'm going to use 1/4 inch seam binding. Then I'm going to attempt to put the tiniest rickrack over the bias tape. I'm going to realize pretty quickly that that is super annoying because of how slippery it is. I'm going to rip that out and give up quickly. And I'm going to just add another layer of seam binding, this time in red. And for the final leg of this journey is the hand sewing. I have to hand sew the hem, and then I have to hand sew the waistband down. This was probably the most painstaking part of the process, and I mean that quite literally. Over Thanksgiving, I stepped on a burr with my bare foot, and while I was trying to pull that burr out of my foot, I got a bunch of little burr needles stuck in my left thumb. So anytime I press down with my left thumb, it shoots pain through my hand. And here you can see quite clearly the burn that I got from the iron, which is now throbbing in pain. So this, you know, this was just not a great time for me. My hands hurt so much doing this, but it's gotta get done. I wish I could have just skipped it, like I'm gonna skip it for you now. Off to the reveal. Well, there you have it. Another project down. Did not turn out how I was expecting it to. Doesn't look anything like the pinafore that I had in mind. It doesn't look anything like the pattern that I had inspired my pinafore from. Sometimes that just happens. I ran out of rickrack. They didn't have any rickrack of the size that I wanted in the stores. When I finished the straps, I decided I didn't like the straps, so I just negated all of that. I even bought like puffball trim, and I didn't have enough of that either. It's just a lot that I did not have enough of. Overall though, I'm not disappointed, even though it didn't look anything like how I expected it to look. I actually really like it, surprisingly. I had thought this might be somewhat like the autumn dress, where green's not really my color, so I thought, you know, I'm gonna make this for the holidays. It's gonna be very Christmassy, very elfish, and you know, that's it. But I actually ended up liking this quite a lot. I don't think it looks very Christmassy at all. I mean, it does because it's that season right now, but I think like if I wore this in the summer, it would just look like a skirt, or wear it in the fall, because it's not overly Christmassy on its own. So overall, I'm not mad at it. It wasn't what I was expecting, but not disappointed. So I think in another project, I'm going to come back and try to make that children's pattern as an adult's pattern. But I do plan for the next project to actually look like the pattern that I chose. So until then, have a good day. Today I'm going to be making a pinafore. I don't even know what pattern I'm using. Of course I pulled it out already. Why would I not have pulled it out? Where did I put it? I don't know where I put it. And so the pattern that I'm going to be using today is this McCalls, oh crap, 4206. Because this did not come out, hey! That was rude.